Hey folks, Valentin the Mad here, and today we'll be looking at the blood effects in the initial early access version of Ready or Not. One of the things the game is going for is delivering a gritty and a messy experience, not peaceful looking aftermaths for engagements. And as you can see in the previous video, the character responses are clearly not in their final state, so in this one we'll be looking at what's currently there, and we'll discuss some of the things I would personally hope to see in the future versions. So let's get going. First up, there is no dismemberment or big mutilation of any kind. Now, I don't know if there's gonna be any limb dismemberment, but something that I think would matter a lot for this kind of a game is to have some proper head damage in combat. Whether it's a good variety of pre-made variations for each character, or hopefully something more dynamic, but I do think that for shotgun versus head, the response should be more than just a decal. Also, the game does need some damage for explosions. Whether it's burned bloody areas where the character was hit, shrapnel sticking out of a bloody wound, or possibly even both. As you saw, we do have wounds. Those will appear at the point of impact, and you will be seeing exit wounds too. The looks are not good. You basically have a blood pattern, doesn't really look like soaked blood or splatter that can happen on the impact, and there are issues with functionality too. This, for example, isn't a stain, it's a wound glitching out of a character. Wounds is a feature that I hope will get a proper focus. It is a SWAT game that is largely centered around pistols and rifles, for which wounds will be the main response. So I do hope you'll see different responses based on what you hit. If it's the head, then seeing blood streaks run down from a hole, the streaks don't have to be dynamic. If it's cloth, then a hole with a blood-soaked area around it. If it's a vest, then seeing a hole with perhaps a little blood around it. And if it's gear like a gas mask or a helmet, perhaps seeing a hole on the gear itself with blood running down on the face below. Also, the response for a beanbag hitting the face could be quite brutal. Regardless, I do very much hope that this isn't how wounds will look in the final version. As for the blood spilling, you have stains on impact and blood pools. The latter will appear consistently, it will form slowly, and the color is good. It will always appear below the same spot on the torso, rather than below the finishing hit, but otherwise, the functionality is good. As for the initial responses, there are issues. So first of all, they appear only if there's a surface right behind the character. If there is nothing, no stain will be spawned and the ground will be clear. And the spread for the stain is good. It is realistic to have a lot of small splats get spread over a large area, however, as you can see in this case, what we have is a fairly small stain that has been stretched way too much. So we get a very low res response and a very exaggerated one. As for the mess in the long term, we have no issues there. I play the car dealership level as essentially a hit squad. If it looks suspicious, shoot first and maybe ask questions later. So lots of blood was spilled and many holes were punctured. This is my first victim. And this is him after I got just about everyone else. As for the animations, for Gunfire, you have a response on the initial hit, and the ragdoll on death. There are additional responses for the various special means, to which we'll get shortly, but when it comes to just plain old firearms, those are quite lacking. At the moment, the ragdolls are really bad and at times even comically bad. It's definitely gonna be changing during early access, so I'd even say enjoy those while they last. The actual issue is though that, at the moment, for Gunfire, all you have is characters that are either alive and kicking or a lifeless ragdoll. The only disabled state now is for the pre-made characters. To my understanding, this is also gonna be changing, and I do hope that a variety of responses will be a focus. Things like several lengthy disabled states, badly injured characters trying to crawl away, leaving a blood trail as they do, or even badly injured characters reaching for a gun for a final revenge. Most engagements really should incapacitate rather than insta-kill. As for the other responses, there are special animations for the various less lethal means, like one for a taser, or a stun state for melee. Beanbags can ragdoll characters. And lastly, a very cool response is characters reacting to nearby gunfire. The animations for it are very good, it's a feature I don't recall seeing a whole lot of, and it's definitely one you'll notice.
Hands up! Get on the ground!
In conclusion, it has some basics and cool things about it, but there's a lot to overhaul and improve. Things I'm very much hoping that will be a focus are wounds and a variety of disabled states, as well as some enhancements in the other aspects. I will be following the development of the game, and I will be doing update videos when new features in our subject are introduced. So, that's it for today. Do let me know how you feel in the comment section, and if you enjoyed the video, subscribe and share it around. And consider supporting the channel on Patreon. For $1 a month you get these videos a week early, you get the interviews a week early, and you help out the channel. So a big thank you to all the Patreon members, and consider joining as well. Also, if you like the music you hear in the intro, outro, and in the background, the YouTube and Spotify playlists are in the description. Until next time.